Taehyung and his husband Jungkook have just arrived in New York to attend The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, along with the other BTS members. Taehyung and Jungkook had dinner at a luxury restaurant, where they were seen walking hand in hand under the protection of their security team. ARMY were moved to tears witnessing their love story. They are now in America, a country that feels safe and comfortable for both of them. As we know, they have even bought a home together here. America is like a home for Taehyung and Jungkook. They are a couple admired by people around the world. Talented artists like Taehyung and Jungkook are deeply appreciated in the United States. From time to time, they wave to ARMY, showing that they are humble and truly care about their fans. TAEKOOK Forever. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to VKook. The shimmering lights of New York City, glittering beyond the tall glass windows of a luxurious restaurant in Manhattan, formed the perfect backdrop for the 7 young men enjoying their rare night together. Amid the lively chatter about tour schedules and Jin's booming laughter that occasionally broke the atmosphere, attention seemed to drift toward one corner of the table where Taehyung and Jungkook sat side by side. Despite being surrounded by the others, the atmosphere between them felt exclusive, as if an invisible bubble separated them from the clinking plates and the soft chime of wine glasses around them. While waiting for the main course, Taehyung showed no hesitation in resting his head on Jungkook's shoulder, his hand casually playing with the younger's fingers beneath the table. Jungkook, who usually appeared strong and charismatic on stage, could only smile shyly with a faint blush on his cheeks, allowing the older to act affectionately without the slightest intention of pulling away. They occasionally whispered about the menu or the view outside, ignoring the fact that Jimin was trying to tell a joke in front of them. For the two of them, the world at that moment revolved solely around deep eye contact and restrained, bashful smiles. When the food was finally served, their affection did not fade. It simply transformed into natural yet deeply sweet gestures of care. Taehyung carefully cut a tougher piece of meat on his plate and fed it directly to Jungkook, who accepted it obediently, his eyes shining with gratitude. Not to be outdone, Jungkook gently wiped a trace of sauce from the corner of Taehyung's lips with his thumb, his touch so delicate as if the man before him were precious porcelain that needed to be protected from even the slightest scratch. The other BTS members, already accustomed to such scenes, could only shake their heads with knowing smiles, occasionally teasing them lightly, teasing that was met with soft laughter from the pair. RM and Suga seemed immersed in their own discussion, giving space for the two to remain in their own world, while Taehyung would sometimes tighten his arm around Jungkook's waist just to express his overwhelming sense of comfort. There was no awkwardness, only a powerful sense of belonging that made the cool New York spring night feel warmer and more intimate to anyone who witnessed it. The dinner ended with the two of them leaving the restaurant side by side, their fingers still intertwined inside the pockets of their thick jackets. Beneath the dim glow of New York's busy streetlights, Taehyung and Jungkook seemed to prove that no matter how demanding the world was, simple moments, like sharing a piece of steak or leaning on each other, were the luxuries they cherished most. They walked toward their waiting car with lingering laughter, leaving behind a quiet yet lasting trace of romance long after the restaurant lights began to dim. After leaving the warmth of the Manhattan restaurant, the atmosphere inside the car heading to the NBC studio at Rockefeller Center felt calmer, yet filled with a sweet tension. Taehyung held Jungkook's hand tightly, gently brushing the back of it as if transferring his final courage before the big moment arrived. They both knew that tonight was not just another interview to promote music. It was a statement they had long kept hidden behind the curtain of the stage. Their eyes met in the reflection of the car window, forming a silent agreement. New York would bear witness to their bravery in telling the truth to the world. Cheers erupted as Jimmy Fallon announced their names, but the pounding of Taehyung and Jungkook's hearts felt louder than the noise of the studio. As they stepped onto the stage and sat on the iconic couch, Jimin and the other members, seated on the opposite side, offered sincere, encouraging smiles. Jimmy, with his signature warmth, began steering the conversation toward their closeness, which had long been a mystery to millions of fans. Instead of giving vague answers as usual, Taehyung took a deep breath, looked at Jungkook with loving eyes, and slowly intertwined their fingers on the table in front of cameras broadcasting the moment to the entire world. A brief silence fell over the studio as Taehyung began speaking in his calm, yet steady baritone about the journey of their feelings over the years. He described Jungkook as his home, the place he returned to amid the exhausting glare of the industry's spotlight. Jungkook, his eyes glistening yet filled with pride, responded by admitting that every love lyric he had ever written had always been meant for one destination. There were no more secrets or hidden codes. That night, under the lights of The Tonight Show, they allowed the world to see the most vulnerable yet strongest side of their relationship. Their honest confession was met with a standing ovation and a warm hug from Jimmy Fallon, who seemed deeply moved by their courage. The other BTS members rose to embrace Taehyung and Jungkook, showing the unconditional support that had always been the foundation of their family. Outside the studio, digital billboards in Times Square seemed to shine even brighter as news of the historic confession spread across the internet. For Taehyung and Jungkook, the weight that had long pressed on their shoulders melted away, replaced by overwhelming relief at finally being able to love freely under the New York sky. The night concluded with a special performance, during which they occasionally stole glances at each other and exchanged small smiles that carried deeper meaning than ever before. There was no longer any hesitation in their touches or interactions on stage. Everyone now knew that their affection was real. As the studio lights dimmed and the recording ended, Taehyung protectively draped an arm over Jungkook's shoulders as they walked backstage, ready to face a new chapter in their lives. They had passed their greatest test, and New York would forever be remembered as the place where they finally dared to tell the world that their love was the most beautiful truth. After that historic confession on the world stage, the narrative surrounding Taehyung and Jungkook was no longer merely fan speculation, but a modern romantic epic redefining the meaning of devotion. Their relationship transcended the boundaries of fame and industry pressure, proving that behind the dazzling stage lights were two souls bound by destiny. The world began to realize that what they shared was not a fleeting spark, but an eternal flame that continued to burn despite years of expectations and relentless public scrutiny. Taehyung, with his timeless charm, stood as a graceful and protective figure for his partner. His maturity and love was evident in the way he looked at Jungkook, a gaze that carried thousands of unspoken poems of admiration and gratitude. He was an artist who made love his greatest masterpiece, offering an unshakable sense of security in a world that often felt overwhelming. His courage to hold Jungkook's hand before millions of eyes proved that, to him, the truth of love was far more valuable than any illusion of image. On the other hand, Jungkook embodied pure and sincere devotion, a young man who grew into greatness with Taehyung's love as his compass. The strength he showed in loving so fully was admirable. He gave his entire heart, turning every note he sang into an endless love letter. His sincerity, seen when he leaned on Taehyung, revealed a deeply human side, reminding everyone that even global icons need a place to return to and be loved for who they truly are. The eternity of their love was reflected in a rare synchronization of souls, where words were no longer necessary because their hearts spoke for them. They were two poles that completed each other, creating a harmony that brought calm to anyone who witnessed it. Praise flowed from all corners of the world, not only for their bravery, but for the beauty of how they cared for one another. They taught that great love is the kind that dares to carry burdens together and chooses each other every morning without hesitation. The world now saw them as a symbol of hope for anyone fighting for their own feelings. Taehyung and Jungkook reshaped the narrative of how idols could love and be loved, gently breaking down walls of taboo with extraordinary grace. There was nothing more captivating than seeing two such influential individuals remain humble and pure in their emotions amid the storm of fame. They became living proof that eternal love is not just a fairy tale of the past, but a reality achieved through honesty and courage. Their steps now felt lighter as they walked through any city, the burden of secrecy replaced by the wings of freedom. Every small gesture, like a gentle touch on the back or a shared secret smile between busy schedules, became a source of inspiration for millions. They were not only sharing a life, but also breathing within the dreams they built together. Each other's presence was the greatest gift the universe had given them, a blessing they guarded with respect and timeless devotion. In the end, Taehyung and Jungkook's love story would be written into history as a legend of two hearts brave enough to go against the current for the sake of truth. They would continue walking side by side, growing old together in a warmth that would never fade, proving that love rooted in sincerity will always find its way to eternity. The highest praise belongs to them. Two warriors of love who showed the world that above all else, genuine affection is the most powerful force in the universe. Leave your positive comments here, The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts.